What's going on, YouTube, man? Welcome back to another video. And before we jump into today's video, man, you should know what you should have been did. Like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. You know why? Because we trying to save the world. We trying to save as many people as we possibly can. So make sure you hit that.
A few minutes later.
So you don't get that post nut clarity, my guys. Now listen, I swear, y'all, it took me it was a little hassle to set this camera up. You get what I'm saying? Before we jump into today's video, make sure y'all being interactive with the links I have posted down below. Make sure you're checking out the books from my guy Lorenzo down below to help you on your SR journey. Make sure you're getting you some supplements from Organics Nature. That link will be down below. Also, check out my Magic Mind sponsorship if you want you a little productivity hack in your life. You get what I'm saying? Just make sure you're checking out the links down below. But you already know what to do. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. So as you can see by the title, right? I titled this video, "This is another reason why you keep relapsing on your journey," right? I don't know if that's the title, but it's along those lines. And I just want to say to this camera, look like it's about to drop, man. It's just looking at me all kind of weird. But I just want to say another significant reason why you can't seem to go on longer streaks. And I know most of you guys have heard me say it's good to be in the moment, and then you hear me say it's not always good to be in the moment. It's kind of like a balance when it comes to being in the moment and not being in the moment. Because sometimes when we're too focused on our life right now, we don't put any of our attention onto our future. Sometimes when we put all our energy into our lives right now, we forget about our future. Some of us, we might be so focused on the moment, we start spending all of our money in our youth, forgetting that we need to be saving up our money for our future families. You know what I'm saying? We should be thinking smarter when it comes to financial issues. We should be thinking smarter when it comes to pleasing God. A lot of us think in the moment for the wrong reasons. So it's nothing wrong with thinking ahead, and it's nothing also wrong with being in the moment. Because remember, guys, the things that we're doing right now is setting us up for our future. You get what I'm saying? So it's good to think for now and in the future, because the things that you do now is going to set you up for your future. I want to tell you guys that the reason why you keep relapsing, it's a possibility that you're thinking way too ahead of yourself. It's a possibility that you're probably like, will God ever send me a wife that I can procreate with? Will God ever, bless me with a helpmate? I know some of y'all be thinking like this, and this is why you get discouraged. You get what I'm saying? This is why you get discouraged, because I know for me personally, a year or two ago, when I first started out on my journey, this is how I used to think. I used to think, man, ain't no woman out there for me. I'm never going to find a woman that compliments me. And then I would always go back to the sites. But I want to let you guys know that those thoughts are not your thoughts. That's the enemy planting those thoughts in your head so you can constantly fail. Remember, guys, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So whenever you get those thoughts, and you're wondering, or you're just in confusion as to where these thoughts came from, remember that those thoughts are not your thoughts, right? The enemy just wants you to go back to your vomit each and every time. And every time you go back to your vomit, you're making his kingdom win, right? You're making his kingdom win. But listen, you might have lost the battle, but you ain't lose the war. So this is why you got to keep going. But a lot of us, we get discouraged on our walk with Christ. We get discouraged thinking that we'll never get a help me. We get discouraged because of that emotion of loneliness, right? Because the Bible says that there's a time and a season for everything, right? So that means that you're not going to always be lonely in your life. You're not going to always, have those prolonged you're not going to always be in those prolonged seasons of loneliness. There's going to be times where you're in deep loneliness, of course, but it's not going to be all the time that you're going to be like that. Or it's not going to be all the time that you're going to be in those seasons. Yes, we got to start being present. We got to be present of what we're doing. We got to be present of where we're going. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like having that tunnel vision. What am I doing right now that's setting me up for my future? Right? That's how we got to be for the now. Be in the present moment. What are you doing right now that's going to set you up for success in your future? We can't be thinking carnally, thinking that I'm going to keep partying. I'm going to keep, buying unnecessary things. I'm going to keep, doing childish things. We got to put away those childish things at a certain point. And we got to start thinking, where are we going to be in the next 5 years, 10 years from now? What am I doing right now that's going to set me up for that? And I feel like that is a reason why a lot of you guys keep relapsing, because you get discouraged. You get discouraged on this walk when you feel like, the female attraction is no longer there, right? You get discouraged sometimes, from a wet dream, and then you just go back to saying, you know what, I'm gonna just relapse right now. It is what it is. You can't be discouraged on this walk because we're humans. We're not perfect. One myth that I've found in this SR community is that guys like to gloss over a lot of things on this SR journey. Be grateful that you have a guy like me who's not going to sugarcoat, my journey on SR. And although we are different, one thing we all have in common is that we're all flesh and blood. We're all humans, right? So most of the things I go through, you might go through the same thing. It might not be in the same way, but we all face the same thing. Look at all the people back in the Old Testament, right? Or just go back in the Bible in general. A lot of them faced or went through things that we are currently dealing with right now. A lot of the things that's happening in the Bible, we're seeing these things manifest right now. Right? So me compared to you watching this video, we're no different. We might have different names. We might live in two different places. We look different, right? But we're still flesh and blood. We still go through similarities. We still go through some of the same things. Just different circumstances. So I know sometimes the reason why you guys keep stumbling, I know sometimes, the issues to your problems, because I go through it as well. And a lot of guys, they make it seem like retention is the end all be all. They make it seem like once you get on retention, it's going to fix all your problems. And that is not true. That is not true. I'm just keeping it real. That is not true. Does retention give you that extra oomph? Does retention give you that extra boost of masculinity? Yes. Do women start to gravitate towards you more? Do people in general start to gravitate towards you more? Yes. Do you start having a more optimistic viewpoint of life? Do you start looking at women differently? Yes. These are all some benefits that I've personally noticed, on my celibacy journey. This is all things I've noticed. But a lot of guys are not going to tell you that. There's going to be days when you feel tired. There's going to be days when you don't want to go to the gym. There's going to be days where you don't want to hop in a cold shower. There's going to be days where you don't want to seek discomfort. There's going to be days where Satan is going to tempt you into relapsing. There's going to be days like these. And that's what a lot of guys is not going to tell you. They're going to tell you all the good things of this journey, but they're not going to tell you the downside as well. And that's what I'm here to do. So a key reason why a lot of men be relapsing on their journey is because they get discouraged. And that's why you can't tell people only the good about retention. You got to tell them the bad as well. You got to keep it real with people, and that's what I'm trying to do. Because if you only tell people the good, how are you training them? If you only tell people the good, how are you training them to fight when they face temptation? How are you preparing people to flee fornication when the enemy starts attacking them with these lustful thoughts? How are you preparing people to fight through when they feel lonely and discouraged from this journey? And I just want to tell you guys that because, I face these things too. So you're not alone. There's days where I don't even feel like I'm on this journey no more. I don't talk about how long I've been retaining. Like, that's pointless. This is a lifestyle. This is a part of me now. So there's days where I might have lustful thoughts. There's days where I want to just be in my comfort zone and just not do anything. There's days like that. So we can't be discouraged on this journey. Because that's what the enemy wants you to do. He wants you to fail. So we got to counter that always. We got to always be 10 steps ahead. 10 steps ahead of the enemy. Because remember, guys, the enemy does not sleep. Right? When you're in your comfort zone, best believe the enemy is working on you. I just hope you know that, guys. So we always got to be 10 steps ahead. And remember that God's will, God's sovereign will for your life, nothing can stop that will. Nothing can ever stop what God has planned out for your life. Right? So don't be discouraged on this journey when you probably not getting any attention from the opposite sex. Right? Don't be discouraged on this journey when you get a wet dream. That's why you got to stay prayed up throughout the day. Stay prayed up throughout the day so that when you do go off in the dream world or the spiritual realm, the enemy can't really mess with you like that because you're protected. You got Christ on your team. Right? So use that discouraging feelings that you get and just destroy the enemy, really. Destroy the enemy with that discouragement that you face on this journey. Remember that we're not perfect. There's going to be dark days and there's going to be brighter days as well. Right? It's all about perspective and how you view life. Just remember that despite there being dark days, there's going to be brighter days later down the line as well. So never forget that, guys. I just wanted to tell you guys that. So listen, man, if you guys took something valuable or learned something new today, make sure to drop a like for me down below, man. Leave a comment down below as well. I want to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions on this topic. Share this video with a friend also because they most definitely will need it. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'll catch you in the next one. And I'm out.